I'm Chung Win with Notebooks.com, and here we're at the Sony Ericsson booth at the Game Developers Conference, taking a look at the Xperia Pro, and also on the left-hand side we have the Xperia Play. Can you tell us a little bit more about both devices and how they compare?
Sure. Well, when we look at the hardware, they both follow a similar design language, but you see here, for example, moving the volume keys from the side to the middle for the Xperia Play, because that's where your fingers are going to be when you're playing and using the shoulder buttons. You'll see a similar look on the back with the LED camera light, but with the Xperia Pro, we step up with the camera from the 5 megapixel that you have on the Play. Going to the Xperia Pro, we have an 8.1 megapixel camera, and also HD capability in the Xperia Pro device as well. And when we think about the camera, this also benefits from the Exmor-R sensor that we get from Sony. The same sensor technology that you have in Handycam and Cybershot that benefits here in the Xperia Pro, which you'll find in Xperia Neo and Xperia Arc as well. And the big benefit about the about the Exmor-R sensor for mobile is under low light conditions, you're going to get a brighter image, but with a greater reduction in the noise that you would expect to see when shooting under low light. So a clearer, brighter image under low light conditions. You also in the screen, and this is a 3.7-inch screen, you have the mobile Bravia engine with this device too. That's going to, and again, this is another technology that we inherit from Sony. With the mobile Bravia engine, you're going to get sharper colors, truer colors, better contrast ratio, and better noise reduction as well there too. And then you, as we mentioned before, we were talking about the Xperia Play. This device versus the Xperia Play, this one actually has the HDMI connectivity also. You have a really good HDMI story here too, because when you plug in the cable to your HD TV, it will turn on the TV if the TV is off. You can use the remote control from the television to go through your photos and videos, but it also mirrors the user interface of the device too. So if I'm going through the menus and I open up Google Maps, or if I'm browsing on the internet, or if I'm playing a game, I can show all that on the big screen as well. Now, the really thing that sets apart the Xperia Pro from our other Xperia lineup is that we actually have a really great hard-QWERTY keyboard, where the rest of the devices are using the great touchscreen keyboard for Android. Here we give the user a choice, so we think it more for business applications or for rapid social messaging. Somebody might prefer the hard-QWERTY keyboard, so that's what the Xperia Pro is all about. What's really neat is when you start typing on this device, you can just start typing on the device automatically, and then later decide what you want the typing that you've done. I'm struggling. The text creation that you've done, the purpose you want to use for it afterwards. So you type and then decide, do you want it to go to Facebook? Do you want to create a text message? Do you want it to be an email? So you compose first, then decide what you want to do with it after you finish creating the text.
Can I test out the keyboard and just see how it feels?
So let's go to an application. Let's go to email. Actually, I don't think this one's. Why don't we get? Let's take a break and let's go to messaging here, because the email accounts aren't set up here.
Right.
So.
Well, that's.
So you want to try it yourself?
Yeah. Just see how the keys feel.
There you go.
Oh, see,
I'm so used to working in the touch screens that I forget about that.
I'm trying to keep it quiet for you.
It's definitely a nice feeling keyboard.
Yeah.
And you do have the autocorrect and text prediction here at the top as well.
Yeah, and that's coming to you from Android. So you get the benefits of the enhancements for text creation from Android Gingerbread, but then of course you also have the hard-QWERTY keyboard. So with Gingerbread you have a lot more editing functions, and that applies mainly for the touchscreen, because when you have this you have the versatility of using the hard keyboard as well.
How large is the display on the Xperia Pro?
The Xperia Pro is 3.7 inches measured diagonally. So we can compare that with the 4-inch screen here on the Xperia Play, and then with Xperia Arc you have a 4.2-inch screen. So this is, we consider this in our performance category, something that's very portable, a little bit more in affordable class as far as price range, a step below in price range from the Xperia Arc and the Xperia Play, and sitting alongside of its sister product, the Xperia Neo, that is essentially this device, but without the hard QWERTY keyboard.
Can you show us a little bit about the Android operating system and what Sony has innovated on top as far as the user experience?
Well, you have the ability to go first off and sort your application tray. So it's really easy to go and find your shortcuts and your apps the way that you want to. So you can choose alphabetical, the ones that you use the most, recently installed, or you can set your own order, and then when you do that, you see all the icons floating, and you can go and you can drag them around, these icons, in the order that you want them to go.
So you're not stuck with whatever Google wants you to see first.
Exactly. So for me, I like to go alphabetical. That's my preferred. But maybe you want to drag all of your entertainment apps together, or your work-based apps together, or something like that. Another thing that you can do is it's really good to do is create folders by dragging them on top of each other. So let me create a couple of shortcuts, and let's find another shortcuts.
There's 5 home screens, I see.
Yes, you have 5 screens. And let me go create another shortcut. Let's put just arbitrarily. Let me go press that. So you see now I have 2 shortcuts on this particular home screen. So what I can do is drag one on top of the other, and that's going to prompt it to create a folder automatically. Now I can select one of these preset icon labeled folders, or I can create my own name and choose a blank folder, but it just makes it really easy to start putting folders if you have a lot of shortcuts that you have on your home screens. Another thing that's really cool is, let's say if you have a lot of widgets, you can do a pinch in, and this pulls in all the widgets from all your 5 home screens. So there you see my media pane and Timescape and all these things, and the Google search widget, and then I go, oh, that's the one I'm looking for, and then it takes me straight over to where it is, and then I can access my Google search, for example. And then you look at the home screens, what we put in here is our media panel, which gives you my music and photos and videos, and in a carousel version like we've had with Timescape in the past. Here we put it in here with our media panel, just something, a really streamlined way to get your media really easily for photos and videos and music all together on one screen. And
sorry to interrupt, but the media panel is a little bit different than what we saw on the Xperia X10.
Right, with Mediascape.
Right.
So this is something that's a little, I would say, simplified to a degree. Just when we think of the enhancements we've done with our user experience versus, say, the X10, I think it's not so much about one application or something like that. It's more about enhancing the experience with little touches here and there of what's already great about Android Gingerbread, but then putting enhancements that just in general enhance your experience, like that ability to create folders very easily, or sort the applications in the application launcher. Easy ways to do that. And then these few widgets that we put in here, because for example, we still have Timescape. Well, it's not on this particular phone. Somebody didn't put the widget there, but normally you see Timescape there as well. But it's not quite such a dominating presence on the main home screen as it has been with the previous generation of our Android products. So if I think of what, in a couple of phrases, what's the difference there is, prior we're thinking of signature applications as far as the enhancements, and here we think more of the signature experience, of subtle enhancements that overall make it a better, easier experience.
Can you run down some of the specs, like the processor, how much memory, and...
Yeah, the memory storage is about 400 meg of your RAM, and it supports up to 32 gig on the removable micro SD memory card. You have about 400 meg of RAM internal, but like I said, the 32 gig. The processor is the 2nd generation Qualcomm chipset.
The gigahertz Snapdragon?
Yeah, you have the 1 gigahertz Snapdragon, and 1 gigahertz was also the first generation of the Snapdragon processor, but this is much more battery efficient and also dual channel, so it has more efficient processing as well too. And that, working together with the enhancements from Gingerbread for power management, it works very well together for making it a really nimble device.
And does this have the Adreno graphics core on
Yeah,
top
this has
too?
Adreno as well.
So it's very similar to the Xperia
the same
Play.
chipset. Yeah.
And then front-facing camera as well for video.
Yeah, you have 8 megapixel here, and then you have the VGA forward-facing camera. And this is one of the differences. You know, the Xperia Arc is an excellent product too, but one of the distinctions between this product and the Xperia Pro and the Xperia Neo is you do have the forward-facing camera that the Xperia Play has as well. So while this is the premier flagship device, one thing that the others have that this one does not have is the forward-facing camera. But it has obviously the largest screen, a beautiful slim profile with the human curvature design language that you see throughout our products, but especially pronounced in the Xperia Arc. And a great name for this device. You can see how the side curves thinnest on the center, and then curving a little wider out on the ends. That makes it beautiful, but also when you're holding it in landscape, it just feels very natural to have that thickness tapering at the end a little bit.
And just really quickly, for comparison's sake, this is the Xperia Neo, which
Correct.
uses basically the same front screen as the Pro. Right?
Yeah, so pretty much you're having pretty much identical specs. Some enhancements here, like the hard QWERTY and the Smart Send feature that I mentioned before, for your to decide what you want to do with the text you've created. So really, you know, if somebody's looking for a little bit slimmer product, but they're totally satisfied with the virtual QWERTY keyboard, might opt for Neo. If somebody really likes that tangible experience with a hard QWERTY keyboard, they might go with the Xperia Pro instead.
So this is a just 3.7-inch screen.
Yep. And but just a little bit thicker there on the Xperia Pro for the hard QWERTY. But the screen is the same size. You have the same camera specs, same mobile Bravia engine, etc. And of course, everything that we're offering, Xperia Arc, Xperia Play, Xperia Neo, Xperia Pro, are all running on the latest version of the Android platform. So right out of the gate, or maybe I should say right out of the oven for Gingerbread, you have the latest version of Android.
And then this is a curved outwards kind of
Yeah, you have more of a convex where we saw, you still see the same design language. If you look at any of the products, you can see a similarity there. But here you have a little bit more of a curve out than you see with the Xperia Arc. And also, you see in the middle here, there's kind of like I guess I'd call it the spine of the back of the device, for lack of a better term. But you see how that kind of bows out there in the center. In addition to have the curve here on the edge, when you go to the center of the back, you see a little pronounced attractive curve there as well. That not only feels beautiful, but it feels great to hold.
Right. Great. Well, thank you so much for demoing these great phones for us.
My pleasure. Thank you.